So first of all, I'm going to introduce you to our judges because they can tell you a little bit about what they're looking for. So let me introduce you first of all to Sanjay Nayar, who's founder of Sorin Investments. Sanjay, good afternoon. So tell me what you are looking for in this pitch. How will people impress you?
They got to make minimum 20x for us. That's number one. Got to preferably do it in 2 years, not 3. And the business model has to be robust till 2035, so it shouldn't get disrupted on the way. Anyway, jokes apart, I'm not that tough a guy. I don't know. I mean, I think, look, my experience shows that looking for quality founders and really assessing them and their capabilities to do a transformation of the business, because VCs, like what we're going to hear now, are mostly transformational in nature in terms of the businesses they're doing, but they'll have to be soundproof to disruption. I think that's pretty clear. And the kind of disruption we've been hearing since morning actually has enlightened me as well. That so I think they've got to make sure that they're disruption-proof, quality founders, background, and frankly, what's the real skin in the game? Yeah. But 20x is the minimum, okay?
No pressure, everyone. Let me introduce you to Priya Guha, who is a venture partner at Merian Ventures. Priya, good afternoon. How do they impress you? What are they looking for?
So Sanjay's covered the financial metrics, so just take that as a given for everybody. I think for me, it's really on building what Sanjay said. It's about a really inspirational founder. I want a great story. I want in the first 30 seconds, everyone remember that, to have a really clear sense of what they are doing and what they bring to the table that is different and transformational. And there's something there about purpose as well. I don't just want to hear about the metrics. They're important, but I want to hear about how you're going to change the world. What's the big ambition?
And that's an ambition in itself, isn't it? That's quite a big ask. That's Priya's ask. Roger's with us as well. Roger Wade, nice to see you, director at BoxFund VC. What are you looking for? How will they impress you?
I didn't even realize I was going to be a judge. I thought I was going to be talking on there. So this is new. Firstly, we're actually not looking for 20x, believe it or not. My background is that I've been a serial entrepreneur. I've run consumer brands for the past 35 years. And to be frank with you, post-SVB, Silicon Valley Bank failure, I really believe that the whole venture capital ecosystem is failing. It was almost like a Ponzi scheme, and we're all on this 20x, chasing the next big technology business. The reality is the American big funds like the Balderton, the Index, the Sequoias, if there is a unicorn out there, they're going to get them. So we just focus on consumer brands that we believe will not only want to be profitable, but make a better world. We're not just interested in growth. Bizarrely, we're interested in profitability. We do fundamentally believe that India is an incredible growth story, but I think one of the things that India lacks is maybe some of the consumer brand knowledge that the UK has. And the UK undoubtedly has some of the best consumer brands, but now in a post-Brexit world, or shall I say Brexit world, we need access to a much bigger market. So I'm looking forward to making some connections with some great Indian entrepreneurs.
Wonderful. Well, you're in the right place. And Lucy is going to run you through who is pitching. So let's see what they've got to offer.
All right. So this is how it's going to work. Each speaker or pitcher will have 3 minutes to pitch their idea. Remember those crucial 30 seconds that I mentioned down here. And then I'll hand over to the judges. You've got 2 minutes of questions. So unfortunately, you probably won't all be able to ask a question. You might be fighting over the mic a little bit, but just 2 minutes and we're going to keep going, and that's the format. So are we ready for our first pitch? 3. Or if there were 30-minute pitches, we'd be here all day, all night. Okay, so please join me in welcoming to the stage Elizabeth Johnson, consultant from Discovery Limited. Is she here in the room? Well, we're off to a great start.
Doesn't need the money.
Yeah? Well, oh, come on then. Well, I know you don't need the clicker, so I'll take that. But you do need a microphone.
I don't have any slides, sorry. So the pitch is, I've got 27, out of everybody in this room, 20% of you are at high risk of type 2 diabetes, genetic obesity, or heart disease. And I can actually help prevent you getting that with this great product. So basically, that is going to actually cost, in the UK alone, over £500 million per year, escalating to 30 billion in terms of a strain on the NHS. So not only can I add life to your years, I can actually also help reduce that risk and cost to the NHS. So the way it works is super simple. We've developed this kit. I've got a lady from NASA as one of my advisors, so I'm very lucky to have her on board. And she's not paid, she just does it for the love of the product. And basically, we're already in retail, we're in Selfridges, we're in Ocado, Superdrug, and so on. So we've got traction, we've got clinical studies which also support the fact that if you follow the plan, within 12 weeks, we can actually reduce your biological age by 3 years and also your memory age by 4 years, which is pretty astounding. And in addition to which, there's also 300 other amazing reports that we can deliver. So we've got traction, we've got a rock star team. What we're now looking to do is dominate. We've signed Japan and Korea, Australia, and we got into the US. We've also got some amazing influencers on board who are unpaid again, including, if anybody watches The Boys, Laz Alonso, who's been in Series 4 now. And I myself have a background, I've generated over £30 million worth of sales in the last 20 years in my previous business and exited a couple of others. So thank you very much for your time. I'd love to get any questions.
I love that, a surprise pitch, and you nailed it. You didn't even need to practice. Okay, I'm going to now hand over to the judges.
Yeah, sorry, simple question. Good question. Made an assumption everybody heard my earlier involvement on the panel. So basically, you just open that up. Inside you find a saliva kit, which is not in this one. You pop it in there, prepaid envelope. It goes back to HeroFinCorp, who are the #1 laboratory in the world. And then all of the data is sent securely and anonymized to our app, where you get over 300 reports across 20 different categories. So one and done. However, we do epigenetics, which can be bought on a subscription. There's also a subscription model for nutritional supplements, coaching, and also an affiliate scheme, which we've already developed for people to get food delivery aligned to their DNA.
What makes you special? So you've got other services in the market like 23andMe,
Yeah.
who are a lot more encumbered than you or established than you. What makes you
No.
special compared to them?
Just send that to me.
Data leak. No, joking aside, I think where they're different is we're a sports and health and nutrition brand historically, and it's about giving actionable data rather than data for data's sake. So they're very focused on heritage, which is very fun, but it's actually useless information. And we've got a 360 approach. So within the app, not only do we offer you results for your DNA and epigenetics, but also there's workouts, recipes, and coaching all aligned to your DNA, which you can follow directly through the app. And there's no subscription if you don't want it. So I think that's really important, because a lot of people don't want to feel tied in. They want to be able to take the results, use the information, and benefit from it straight away.
You've got 10 seconds. What do you need?
1.5 million.
What valuation?
6 million.
What's your EBITDA?
Well, we're only a year old, so 200 grand on this business.
On what turnover?
Oh, I've got to cut you there. I'm sorry. Got to be fair. Give it up for Daniel Herman. I don't want to... Daniel Herman from Biosynergy. Now, I don't want to put fear into the other pitches, but I think the bar's been set very high there. That was a great pitch. Great questions from our judges. So are we ready for our next pitch? I'll take that silence as a yes. So please join me in welcoming to the stage Khushbu Verma, founder and CEO at VCare Denmark APS. And apologies if I said that name wrong. Right, do you need a clicker? Okay, have we got the slides for this presentation prepared? You're going to need this and a clicker. There's a lot of stuff going on in your hands. Okay, I'll leave you to it.
So, hi everyone. Am I audible with this? No. Yeah, my name is Khushbu, and I have 20 years of experience with health technology implementation in the US, UK, and Denmark. And I'm coming from Denmark, right from the flight. That's why I have not even taken a breath yet. I've been fortunate to be part of the journey in Denmark in a health sector which was totally paper-based to digital, world's most digitalized health sector. And that gives me the strength to start the company VK Denmark. A couple of years ago, my father, he got heart operation due to unmanaged diabetes. While I was working with CVDs and with chronic diseases all over the world and trying to create technology. And that happened under my nose, and that's what pushed me to be entrepreneur and start this journey. Yeah. So that's what, sorry. This is the, well, okay. So this is where we are in our journey now. Since we started, we created our product for India, a digital platform for chronic disease management for Indian population with Indian doctors and patients. And this is where we are. It's a humble start, but a potential to scale a lot. The three components in Cordia, well, it's an old slide deck, actually, I can see. But there are three components of Cordia, which have a patient management system for the doctors, a patient app for data collection for the patients, but also an app for the relative, which does that. We are connecting the whole ecosystem together for longitudinal care and care with empathy, a care which has room for love as well and not only medicinal value. And the relatives part is very important for a person like me who lives 6,000 kilometers away from my parents, and also for many kids who live within India but are staying far away. This is how our roadmap has been so far. We have launched in SGPGI and 2 big hospitals in India, in Gujarat and Uttar Pradesh. And we are growing from there because these are the 2 states which are diabetic capitals of India. And yeah, so I will not go into detail looking at the time. Yes, we are supported heavily by the Foreign Ministry as well in Denmark because we are one of the products which they want to scale and support, being India-Denmark Green, being part of the India-Denmark Green Strategic Partnership. So we have also been to trade missions and so on to get more. And I don't need to explain this. We know the market size in India. I have a wonderful team of
Give it up for Khushbu, that was a great pitch. Okay, judges, what do we think of this digital platform and healthcare solution? Your 2 minutes starts now.
Okay, quick one to kick things off. How do you make money? Who's your customer? What's the revenue model?
Yes. So the patients are paying because India is primarily private sector driven. 70% of the health sector is private. So it's the patient out of pocket, but the doctors get a share as well.
Khushbu, quick question. There was a slide on differentiation that you skipped.
Yes.
What is the differentiator here?
Yes.
To me, it sounds more like an information management system.
Well, I'll point out the key differentiator is that we are standing with the doctors, with their ecosystem, supporting them instead of competing with them. So there are information management systems which are kind of competing with the doctors and making them look smaller than what they are. But we are strengthening them and empowering them. So that is our differentiator. And we are including the relatives as well, which are totally neglected part of the healthcare today.
He is. Oh, there's one. Gotcha.
Not as of now because recent, but there are many problems.
Oh, he's not.
Yeah, but I would say that 3 important priorities for my product development would be, I think I'm trying to figure out how do we use technology to the best to create it with empathy for the patients, for the doctors, and for the relatives. And then the second question that keeps me, always runs in my mind is that how to make the ecosystem, which is seamless which has seamless integration from one to another actor. So the relatives are always coordinated and have a structured involvement with the doctors. So there are a couple of questions that keep me not awake, but a bit curious in the nights. Have you funded the business
Yes.
by yourself till now? Yes. Funded the business yes, sir. Yeah.
So what are you looking for?
So I need smart money, and I need someone who can help me in this journey from in the spirit of service unto Niramaya, which is our motto. So I need someone.
I'm glad the gong is there because I'm feeling pretty mean and we're only on pitch number 2. Thank you. All right. Another great pitch, another brilliant set of questions. Thank you, judges. Okay, next up, please join me in welcoming onto the stage Manjinder Virk, director at Bioma.me. Come on.
Ask Vivek Alswami, one of our punters, to identify himself and come to the front of the room, please. There's space for you on the sofa, just over there. Thank you.
I was listening to the view from the back.
No, judges have got to be at the front. Park your backside. Right. Yeah, can we have 2 mics? Because I think it might get a bit clunky. Yeah. Thank you. Right. Right, ladies, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon. Last minute edition. I sit here as the CSO as opposed to the CEO. I'm going to introduce Manjinder Virk, who is the Asian Woman of the Year, UK, category science, sponsored by NatWest, and she's now building something very interesting. So Chief Biomedical Scientist of King's College Hospital, former, and has moved across towards building something very, very interesting. So Titan DX starts off as a model that's already in the market. It's known as Bioma.me. You're welcome to look on Google. And what they do is they look at diagnostics, healthcare, and wellness on a daily basis, where blood testing starts from the beginning. So where we have the Edison, this is the answer to solving the Edison. So with Titan DX, that comes in with a joint venture, and a joint venture which is quite interesting, where we look at healthcare incorporated with infrastructure from the railways. So a grant and a model which has come from Network Rail, and a grant which is going to be very interesting, where we start off with a railway station which has a clinical lab within it. So with Bioma in the market, it is a set of clinical labs, which I'm going to let Manjinder introduce.
This was easy for me because it was all happening. Bioma is a set of Class E units. We take Class E units and we refurbish them into phlebotomy centres, so blood taking centres in the front and laboratories in the back. So we're not just regenerating the high street, because unfortunately post-COVID, we all know what's happened. I'm actually a virologist, so I helped set up the COVID testing pathway for the UK. So, and then I actually ran HeroFin's clinical diagnostics pathway. So yeah. We take Class E units, we create these centres. We do everything from multivitamin screening to dendritic cell therapy for cancer treatment. So unfortunately, my youngest patient is 18 months and my oldest is in his 90s. We want to make healthcare accessible for all, but that doesn't just mean advertising and sending out loads of information and telling people that it's there. It's about bringing the consumer and the infrastructure for healthcare closer together. So I am ex-NHS, 15 years at NHS. I was the Chief Biomedical Scientist of King's. There are things, unfortunately, that fall within the infrastructure that exists. We're not here to replace the NHS, we're here to support it. There's a whole host of data that comes out of clinic labs for from everything from, are you vegetarian, to is there higher prevalence in this demographic region that needs to be reported to Public Health England to feed the wider government infrastructure. And that's what we do through Titan.
Just to add a couple of cents to that, with Titan itself, you look at data sets. When you look at AI and machine learning, it's very interesting where you have applied AI, you have generative AI. What we're looking at is personalized AI. So with the clinical labs, it looks like a tangible model. We've built this system, which is bootstrapped and post-revenue, and this data has been collected, and it started from February 2023. That data is being looped back in to, and we're running out of time.
I saw your eyes go down there. Okay, Omar, give it a round of applause, making healthcare more accessible to everyone. Now, before I hand over to the judges, I realise that things are a little bit clunky, so I'm going to ask you guys to come over here and sorry, I might have to turf you out of your seats if that's all right, just so it's easier for you guys to pass the microphone and you can hear. I just think it might be a bit nicer, if that's all right, if you don't mind. And I'd also like to welcome our punter, who's a little bit late to the party, but here nonetheless, Sachin Devdugal, another punter who is now here. Give him a wave. Yeah. Okay, yeah, pop there. All right.
I have a very simple
Okay,
question.
2 minutes, go.
What was the business? Sorry, how does it work?
So it's
So the proof of concept is a set of clinic labs. So it's a clinic with a laboratory attached to it. What that does is it provides accessible healthcare to areas in the UK which it is not accessible to. You'd think that a first world country has healthcare all across the jurisdiction, but it's not. There are certain areas which are remote. So what we have is these clinic labs, they've been set up to be able to provide that healthcare. So the time it takes to get a blood test or have a GP appointment it's delayed. It takes a very long time. In terms of how pathology works or the diagnostics piece, when you have a blood test, it actually takes 95% of the clinical pathways, they require them in order to get results or sort of decide what happens next. So the clinic labs, they provide that service. What we're doing with that is the data coming from it. It could be anything from whether you have anemia, low testosterone, anything like that. That data comes back in. Titan takes that concept, brings in other data sets that we have access to. It could be pharmaceuticals, it could be the NHS, it could be any other data sets that we have access to. And that comes from the team. Okay. The team themselves come from NHS, they come from different areas, and then that plugs in. It's AI, it's trying to create a solution in order to create effective healthcare.
I'm going to cut in with a question because we're running out of time. So do you sit inside or outside the NHS in the UK? And are you if you sit inside, are you part of the primary care function of the NHS?
It's not primary care that we're looking at. I think I'm going to let Manjinder answer that question and then add my 2 cents.
We sit outside the NHS framework, but we are on the framework, so we can take both types of contracts.
Amazing. Could you talk to me about how many data scientists you have and what models you're using?
We have 15 data scientists. We can give you information on the models, but we'd rather not say it out loud on microphone.
Looking for how much?
2.1 million.
2 minutes really isn't a long time, but you still get those questions in. You nailed those questions, ladies. Thank you. Give it up. All right, I'll take that. And
Lucy.
Yes.
May I suggest that you clarify to all the pitchers that they have to be clear about what are they looking for? Because, by the time we get to understanding the business, so less introductions, more about the business, what differentiates, and what are they looking for, right?
Well, I guess the thing about
Otherwise,
pitches
we're going to be
is that's their
short
pitch style, isn't it? Because that's what they should be doing. But
leave it to them. Okay.
I don't know if they're going to be able to change at such last minute. But you heard that here first for the rest of the guys who are still pitching. You hear what the judges are looking for. Okay, so no pressure for our next pitcher then. Please welcome to the stage Sadiq Ali, co-founder and COO of Akur Card. Right, there's the clicker. Yes, there you go. Kind of need 3 arms, don't you, with all those bits. Right, your 3 minutes begin now.
Hello, everyone. So I was at a talk by a Cambridge professor by the name of Dr. Andrew Grace a few months ago, and he had a slide up that said that cardiology without ECGs is not possible. I'm here to make a bolder claim. I think in about 10 years' time, healthcare without ECGs will be unthinkable. Why am I saying that? These numbers are part of that story in terms of the number of ECGs taken a year. But more than that, as we move forward, the interrelationship between cardiovascular disease and renal metabolic diseases, in particular diabetes, is going to become obvious. And as that becomes obvious, the value of ECGs will also become a lot more obvious in terms of the scale that it can achieve. But it's not just that. We're at a point in time now where ECGs are becoming a broader and broader biomarker. They can be leveraged to diagnose diseases that were unthinkable even a decade ago. And that fundamentally is game-changing. Why is it game-changing? It's because if you think about it, ECGs are the electrical signal of the heart, and they can be easily digitized. Once they're digitized, they can be used for things like continuous monitoring, particularly in the context of remote patient monitoring and telehealth, which is not possible through a lot of other broad biomarkers such as blood and DNA, at least with today's technology. The challenge right now, though, is the incumbents, the status quo, cannot address this problem. They cannot address it for three major reasons. One is the accuracy rates are very low. The second is that they're very, very slow. And the third is that the margins are tightening. The business models are not really set up for this. We are going to change that. We are basically building what we think of as an operating system for ECG analytics. We have already, and something that can work with ECG hardware regardless of the form factor of the hardware. Last year, we received our first set of FDA clearances for the detection of up to about 12 different cardiac arrhythmias. We are now moving on to use ECG for a lot of novel use cases. We also were part of a program at the Mayo Clinic last year where we were able to use ECG data for the diagnosis of diseases ranging from hyperkalemia, which is essentially high potassium levels in your blood, through to diseases like aortic stenosis using ECG data. We are actually filing an FDA, we filed an FDA breakthrough designation about 2 weeks ago for the aortic stenosis model, and we're working on additional FDA breakthrough designations for the other models as well. In terms of the market sizes are huge for each of our use cases. The core ECG use case that we already have approval for, the market size is close to $4 billion. Beyond that, all the other use cases have very large market sizes as well. We're a team that comprises AI researchers, clinical.
Oh, I'm sorry. The timer went to 0. Come on, give it up. Another health solution. I think that's going to be the recurring theme maybe for the next few pitches. Okay, judges, I see you're raring to go. 2 minutes, begin now.
Pardon the pun, but this is actually quite close to my heart. I had atrial fibrillation during COVID, and my watch actually told me I was having, my ECG on my Apple Watch told me I was having an atrial fibrillation, which 2 hours later was confirmed by the hospital. What's going to protect you in terms of future advances, in terms of watch technology, to make sure that actually your technology is not redundant?
Yeah, so the ECG hardware is getting very commoditized. ECG hardware, like the Apple Watch actually works pretty well for AFib, but once you go beyond AFib, you go into other diseases, the Apple Watch is very limited. But ECG hardware is not limited to the Apple Watch. There's ECGs that are being embedded in toilet seats. There are ECGs that are on the steering wheels of cars. There are biofabrics with ECGs being developed. The hardware space is getting extremely commoditized. We're developing the software for it to get the regulatory approvals that are needed for serious clinical intervention. I mean, Apple had to run a study with 200,000 patients with Johnson & Johnson to get that. That's not very easy for a hardware company to do. They already have their work cut out just in terms of getting approval for their hardware. Our value proposition to them is pretty simple. License the software from us, focus on the hardware, we'll give you the analytics.
Why not build a direct-to-consumer?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question. Frankly speaking, the issue with direct-to-consumer is beyond a certain point. You can bring the consumer on, but to retain the consumer, no one has quite figured it out. The reimbursement models have not yet developed for that. Once the reimbursement models develop, the CMS codes exist, that becomes a very, very interesting model. Our approach there is to partner with telehealth companies and remote patient monitoring companies, because we also don't want to get into last mile care. We see ourselves as an AI and software company. The minute we start getting into managing patient care, the entire business model changes.
Where are you at in terms of the business model of what you're asking?
Yeah, so
that question. You've got to be quicker with those questions. 2 minutes. All right, give it up for Sadiq. Hey, you.
Seed extension.
Hey, don't have to rugby tackle you now. No, it's all right, I know, it's never long enough, never long enough. Okay, we are just about at the halfway mark. Let's give it up for our pitchers so far. It's not easy coming up here and pitching in front of you guys. I know the heart rate must be pretty high. Okay, so please join me in welcoming our next pitcher to the stage, Prasanajit Main, founder and chief executive at Serena.
Say what you want up front, and then your pitch. Sure. Thank you, Jitesh, for that. What we're really looking for is... so we are now a revenue generating startup, and we are getting to eventually our scale phase. And we are looking for someone, a mentorship, someone who has built his or her venture from start to exit, to come and guide us. So that's what our main ask is. Now, in terms of what we do at the moment, no, we are looking for mentorship. We are getting there. So we are a digital mental health therapeutics, and I'm going to explain what, why, and how. In terms of why, it's because I was diagnosed with clinical obsessive compulsive disorder when I was a student at IIT in India. And then I became super interested about mental health, did research in mental health, digital intervention for a couple of years, got a publication in Nature, and then pivoted slightly and did my master's from London Business School and started this business about 4 years ago. So why I'm into this business, it's personal to me. What are our offerings? Our products offerings are twofold. One is our app-based therapeutic solution, which is self-guided, that is without live human intervention. And second, our provider-focused AI-powered triage solution that really helps with workforce efficiency to mental health providers. Now, there are 5,000 apps that contain such mental health apps. How are we different? Our credibility, we are already built, we are a regulated device. We are already built credibility through recognition from NICE, MHRA, and by an independent assessor, Orca. According to them, we are the best mental health app in the regulated mental health market with our 96% score. So that's how we are different. Now, we've finished our research studies as well. Some of our work getting published in British Medical Journal soon, and so there comes the clinical credibility as well. Our business model is B2B2C. Before finishing our clinical studies, we started early revenue generation through partnering with employers and universities. But now that we have a very strong established credibility, we are getting closer to the actual providers. Our biggest partnership, commercial partnership right now is with Minds, Norfolk and Waveney, which is their largest of providing authority. And Mind is the biggest mental health brand in UK, as they say in Hindi, bas naam hi kafi hai. And through this, we are not only implementing this in their services and to their employees, but also they are acting as a distributor of our product. So through Mind, we are tapping into other segments as well. This is some of the projections. We are currently 100K ARR, and in a year's time, we are reaching about 500,000 ARR. And our ask.
You know what it means when I stand here. You've got a zip. Okay, judges, right, got some questions.
Why do you not need money if you're only at 100K?
Well, right now we have enough runway at the moment. We will be raising our next Series A in about 6 months' time. We are just on our way to get profitable, and in 6 months' time, we will be raising a Series A. At the moment, around 12 months.
How are you acquiring your businesses that are going to help you sell to your consumers? What's your acquisition strategies for those businesses?
Well, we are, as now, we are partnered with Mind, and Mind being the biggest brand in the UK, we are actually now reaching out to employers through Mind, as they are acting as our distributors as well. What that's going to do is not only bring differentiation in terms of our product, but also that is going to act as a catalyst in terms of sales cycle reduction by around 60 to 70%.
So then your reach is going through Mind, or you're going to have that ownership of that reach yourself?
Well, we are working together with a revenue sharing model. So Mind is, of course, going to be the leader, but we'll be supporting them as well.
So even if you're not planning on raising for 6 months, I would definitely build relationships now. Build relationships when you don't need the money. It's a lot easier.
Yeah.
The question was really just around your differentiation. There's a lot of mental health apps out there. You know, why are you so different?
The main differentiation comes from clinical credibility. As I said, we are regulated, already recognized by NICE. We have just finished our randomized control trial getting published in BMJ. So there are two differentiation. One is product-based, that in terms of our superiority, and second, the go-to-market based. NHS everyone is targeting, but we are really finding our niche way to work with providers such as Mind, who work for NHS, but who are not that sort of fought for from the our competitors. So in that way, we are building our differentiation.
Have you thought of India as a market at all?
At some point, yes, I come from there. I mean, and I was just discussing.
The gong doing all the hard work for me. Well done, brilliant. You handled those questions admirably. Thank you very much. Okay, before we welcome our next picture, I'd just like to welcome our judge. Better late than never, but you're here. So, quick question. Oh, I'll introduce you first. This is Abhimanyu Munjal of HeroFinCorp. Now, I'm just going to come down. What is it that you look for when people are pitching? So maybe for our next pitchers that are going to take to the stage, what should they be really focusing on in those 3 minutes?
They should be passionate on what they're showing, right? I think it's about passion, commitment, and something which is unique. It should not be a me too. It should be something that's really changing stuff, which is unique and a first time. But for me, it's about backing the entrepreneur. It's backing passion. It's backing intelligence.
Yes, I like that. Well, I'm going to leave that mic. Actually, no, I'm going to.
Today's a really good lesson. If you're ever doing a pitch, any entrepreneur out there, always have your 60-second pitch in your pocket and always have your ask in your pocket. You know, if you only get one chance to meet a major investor sometimes, and you've got to have your ask. You've got to know how much money do you want, what's your valuation, what's your turnover, and within 15 seconds be able to say, this is what I do.
Yep. All the other judges nodding. I'll take that. So for the last remaining pitches, you heard it here first. This is what our judges are looking for. Very valuable advice there. So make sure you think about that when you step up back onto the stage. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up our next pitcher. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Sandeep Chintala, founder and CEO at Smart Audio Technologies. Okay. That's you. Oh. Someone who's got a big mouth like me. Okay, your 3 minutes begin now.
My name is Sandeep Chintala, and I'm the founder and CEO of Smart Audio Technologies. We are a dual-use technology company, which means we can be used in defense and civilian use. We are currently raising about £3 million through Seed Fast, so we won't talk about valuation. We've previously raised $2 million already on SEIs and EIs, and all our existing investors have got their returns back from the HMRC. What is our vision? Our vision is to enable clear conversation in all environments, regardless of what device you're using. What that means is you can be next to an aircraft, you can be in a mine, you can be in a helicopter, or you can be in a busy office, but we want to enable you to have very clear conversation. Today, although the technology are there that remove noise from the environment, but it's not good enough. We accept that this is not possible to completely remove the noise from the environment, so we live with it. But what we do is this. This is a demo. What model is the plane? What model is the plane?
Oh, okay, it's GCD-TX.
It's a Cessna 156.
Yeah.
Enable the technology now.
Enabled, yeah, okay. Yeah, enabled.
Okay. So we currently can't hear anything. The engine is still running. This is using a self-adaptive AI technology that I've invented, and we're patent granted in more than 20 countries around the world. Some of the USPs: we are not a traditional noise cancellation technology. We are not here. We are at a mouthpiece. So the sound is already, all the noise is removed first and then transmitted. Our first markets that we're focusing are mission-critical environments, defense, aviation, emergency services. We already signed an MOU with one of the largest Indian defense companies. We've signed an MOU with one of the largest Australian radio equipment manufacturer. We signed a first racing team in NASCAR in the USA. We were the first one of the 50 SMEs who got invited to Abbeywood in May to look at how we can be part of the future supply chain of the UK MOD as well. markets are big. Comparison, some of the, these are big numbers. These are our business models.
Okay. Give it up for Smart Audio Technologies and Sandy on a mission to kill the noise. Love it. But I'm not a judge, so I'm now going to hand over to our judges, and you can let him know what you think with your questions.
I really like the business model. I'm not sure what your competitive landscape is. I'm going to give you a big piece of advice here, which is I would, if I was you, separate your businesses out between the business ones and the non-ESG compliant ones. Because you literally have loads of pension funds out there that will not touch you because you have the word defense on there. So you could just easily separate those two out, have a defense arm and a separate arm, because literally they will not be able to invest in you.
That is definitely something that we are working on, because currently it's a linear model, but we want to flip it into a holding company with subsidiaries under it.
So how big's the team? Those are quite different sectors. Yeah. You'll need a team that really understands each of those markets.
Part of the raise is to bring specialists, experts from the industry. A team currently is about 8 people. They're business partners. No one's on a wait because we are not fully revenue generating yet. But there is a very strong pipeline with a potential of more than £100 million over the next 3 years.
So with 8 people, how did you build the tech?
I invented the tech, the whole thing in a shed. I invested my own money, £100 in developing the whole tech.
And is it based on AI or DSE?
Yeah, it is it's a combination. It's hardware and software.
Where would you manufacture this? Is it?
So we already have manufacturing partners in 4 continents. So UK, China, Australia, and USA.
You're pre-revenue and you have manufacturing partners in 4 continents?
Yeah.
Focus. Right?
No, but for example, in defense emergency services, no one wants to have a Chinese manufacturer nowadays. So we have to go and procure them. But they manufacture for defense and emergency services in their own
Would
market.
you say, I saw Bose written there, would you say Bose is a competitor?
No, Bose is here. Bose is mainly here.
No, but use case, is it a competitor?
We could be a partner for them.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I wasn't quite there on the gong, but the gong did my job for me. So I'm just going to come down for a sec. Sorry to interrupt your conversation. Sachin, I just got a question for you. You know, as an entrepreneur, you know, what has your journey been like? And, you know, how does that kind of put you in a position to, you know, give people advice and help them with their business ventures moving forward?
Gosh, I didn't know I was going to answer a question.
Yeah, sorry, I threw you a curveball there, sorry.
I think, look, I'm going to quote Federer's Dartmouth commensuration speech because I thought it was pretty epic, which is, to me, there's only 2 talents that matter. One is grit and one is relentlessness. Mm-hmm. Everything else you can hire. Yeah. Those 2 skills you can't buy.
Yeah.
And we have a long part of our journey still ahead. And it's those 2 things that have allowed us to reach to where we've got to.
Yeah.
And I'd say the third, probably most important, is you hire for loyalty, not for skill.
Absolutely. Just wanted to get those words from you there. Okay. We are on the final stretch. We've only got a few more pitches left. So keep that energy going for Srijan Jindal, co-founder and CSO at FICCI. Right. There's your mic.
Thank you very much.
Do you need a clicker? Yes, you do.
Yes, I do. Just switch this on so that I can see when you're coming over to hit the tone.
No, you'll see it there, trust me.
Oh, right. That's brilliant as well.
Okay, your 3 minutes begin.
Hello?
Now.
Yeah. Do you know about 1 in every 2 women will get urinary tract infection during their lifetime? This is a disease that affects over 300 million people every year. I'm Dr. Srijan Jindal, Chief Scientific Officer of FICCI Diagnostics. At FICCI, we are building a UTI diagnostic kit that will give you fast, accurate, and affordable diagnostics at point of care. So this is our technology. We are trying to revolutionize the UTI patient journey. Our diagnostic system delivers a 99% reduction in the time of diagnosis and the result versus the gold standard. We tell you if you have the infection, the bacteria that it causes it, and the antibiotic that will need to cure it within an hour at the point of care. Currently, there's no technology out there which does that. They all go to the centralized facility. We are bringing it to the primary care. So you don't get the wrong antibiotic, which happens in 50% of the cases. In terms of value proposition, the patients, we are serving over 300 million UTI patients every year, providing them accurate diagnostic within an hour. The end user can generate over $10 of revenue. That's based on the US market. Our unit cost of goods are pretty strong, less than $5 for looking about 100,000 cartridges. The system is accurate. We have been tested by an external company with 96% accuracy. And the cost of the treatment failure right now, only in US, is about $2 to $3 billion per annum. And AMR, of course, it is the biggest concern for UN General Assembly this year. And UTI accounts for 22% of all the antibiotics prescribed. Half of them are wrong, incorrect, not needed. We're going to reduce that. Only in the UK, it will save $500 million every year. This is a total addressable market. We are looking at about 75 million patients, which is US, Europe, UK, India, aiming for 33% market share. And you can see our target price over there. What do we really want? We want a short-term fundraise up to 5 million at a valuation of 20 million, which we are raising right now. A long-term investment of someone who's going to lead our round for 10 million investment that leads to our FDA approval. That is at between 40 to 50 million valuation. Anyone who can help us with clinical samples, connections, urine sample, it's always welcome. So that's for everyone at the back. And launch to India. This has been my passion. It started in India. When I came to the UK, I really realized during my PhD what severe problem UTI is. 6 years from now, since I made that patent, I'm standing here more closer to the market than it ever will be. And I can't wait to get
Great pitch, and you nailed it in those 3 minutes. Okay, another healthcare solution, which seems to be the theme of today. Yeah. Okay, judges. Right, I've got a question there. Can we pass the mic?
It does.
I don't know any company in the world that's reached 33 probably with the exception of Apple and Nvidia. So why would you do it?
So this is not an immediate solution. This is obviously over the period of about 5 to 10 years. We have partners with biggest diagnostic companies in the world who are looking to target this. There is no diagnostic solution for UTIs at point of care. There's sepsis. You can do sepsis, but not UTI. Sepsis at $250 per test. UTI, no solution. Why? No one will pay that money. We're bringing it at $25.
So you want 5 million now, and then a later raise of 10 million. Just talk us through the steps, what the milestones are. What are you looking to use that money for?
So 5 million, we've gone through FDA pre-sub. We want to start, so we have identified the manufacturing partners. We want to confirm our alpha prototype, design freeze, and get to that stage of clinical trials. The 10 million will be for the clinical trials, FDA pre-sub, submissions, also marketing, and getting to the market.
What's your moat? Like, what are you protected? Do you have a patent protection around the methodologies?
Yeah, we have 6 patents, 1 granted, and 4 more in filing.
What's your barrier to entry? What's your unit cost in terms of stocking equipment?
So equipment is about $5,000 per equipment. The idea is either to sell it or give it for free on a subscription basis, which is how most of the diagnostics work, and we charge it on the goods. Idea is at about 1 million cartridges, less than $2, and if you sell it for $10, you're looking at a very considerable amount of money. So you make the money of the equipment within 4 months.
So you've run the model based on subscription and it's profitable.
Yes.
Yeah. The point of care has to be at a clinic, or can it be at a pharmacy? Or
pharmacy. Care homes, walk-in centers, pharmacies.
Okay, thank you. Another round of applause, and for our judges as well. Brilliant questions. Thank you, and a great pitch. I'll take that. So, revolutionizing the UTI journey. Right, I'm coming for you. I'm coming to ask you a question. Right, got another judge here. Af, It's always the quiet ones. You know, you've been sitting here pretty quiet, nodding along.
I was listening.
Yeah, no.
So I just kept quiet.
Well, I'm introducing you now. Thoughts so far on lessons on pitching?
So I probably don't have bags of money here because I'm actually doing the job like this man here on the left. I think, look, it's really hard to get. By the way, whoever stood up there and pitched, respect. Give them a round of applause, please.
Yes.
Because I've done a lot of these, and it's a graft and it's hard. You know that, right? Okay. So passion, purpose, problem, pragmatism, and possibilities. If you address these 5 things in your demeanor, and in those 60 seconds or 3 minutes, then you captured the attention of the right investor. Not every investor is right for you.
Absolutely.
And so, a pleasure to sit here, but I've observed and I'm learning a lot by listening.
Yeah. Well, I will be coming for your reflections later. In fact, I'm going to ask Priya. Priya, what will you be reflecting on? I'm going to take a seat as you popped up. What will you be reflecting on when judging? You know, what's going to be your thought process?
So for me, it's very quickly, what's the product? Where is it going to scale? And is this person going to be right?
Yeah.
Because the reality is, and no disrespect to you two, the people who start the companies aren't always the people who can scale the businesses. 2 great exceptions in the room.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
actually, you know, you need to... I'm sure there are many others in the room who are exceptions.
Yeah.
But, you know, someone's got to take a journey across lots of different challenges, and you need that person to be right for that
absolutely.
journey.
It's got to be the right fit, right? Yeah. And how do you think our pitchers are doing so far? I know you were here on our judging panel last year. You gave some great insight and expertise. So I'd be intrigued to see what you think right now, how they've been doing.
No, I think I like the passion across the board, everyone. I think we're getting much more accurate now in terms of the purpose and the objective. You know, somehow I feel that they seem to know it all. There seems to be nothing to worry about, no sleepless nights, no vulnerability, which is good. Look, I mean, that's fine, but you can't fool the judges, right? Beyond the point. The judges are smart guys.
Yeah, yes, you are a bunch of smarty pants. I know you are. Okay, are we ready for our penultimate pitch? Are you ready for your penultimate pitch? Come on, let's keep that energy going. I know it's been a long week, guys, but, you know, let's make them feel loved when they get up here. Like I said, it's not easy coming up here to pitch. It's pretty hard having all those eyeballs staring at you. Trust me, I know. Okay, so please join me in welcoming Chaitanya Kumar, Chief Executive Officer at Incepto and at Prakash.
Sometimes
and your 3 minutes begin now.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Chaitanya Kumar, founder of Strat Pilot. I've been an entrepreneur for the last 15 years now, and I've been growing in businesses from idea to market and exit. After my recent exit, one thing I realized in the entire life is life of a founder and a small business owner is always hectic. And I wanted to give them we talked about AI, augmentation and complementation. I wanted to solve that problem through the process. That's where the motivation and passion is. And few statistics, we are about 60% of the employment is provided by SMEs, 90% in the numbers are SMEs or founders, and about 12 to 15% of people in the planet are engaged in creating a business or managing a small business. So that's a huge population and the size of the market. Now, in terms of the life, we all pretty much know, I'm sure, it's hugely dependent on other people. There's a lot of learning curve, uphill journey, multitasking, lonely battles. It is the life we all can identify. And we wanted to say, if we can give 30% of uplift in their life and create work-life balance, that'll be a great difference. And if they can perform better, it not only helps their businesses and their families, but also GDPs and global societal impact as well. Now, in terms of what we wanted to create was a co-pilot for their journey. This is business AI. in a way, and start with tactical activities, but slowly understand them and their business, connect to their business solutions and the way they operate, the way when they seek information, the way when they basically rely and communicate with other people. And eventually I know personally that though we can perform very well, at some point we need coaches. Like somebody mentioned, not every founder is a scaler. So we want to create AI coaching capacity into the system so that one individual, one coach can only coach 10 people. Through this process, we want to empower their productivity, but also enhance output. We are creating a system that we've released recently, and we're scaling up in terms of user adoption. It is MVP. We invested our own $500,000 money, and we're looking for $500,000 further, SEIS fund. And we eventually want to get to a point, like you talk to Alexa, you want to be able to talk to your business assistant that can in turn have a longer conversation with your colleagues and systems and give you that extract and actionable outputs. And anything in life is nudges, incremental evolution. So I think this has to be a co-pilot that nudges you towards that growth and efficiency. That's the essence. And in terms of so far the progress, we made incremental progress initially.
You know, my apologies for not giving you the correct intro.
It was a fintech startup. I was a co-founder and a CTO. We took it from 0 to 2 million roughly recurring revenue, ARR. And yeah. I took an exit because I wanted to focus on the new venture. More importantly, we have scaled it to a level where we kind of reached the market that we wanted to. 6% of the market in the UK. That was saturation point for us, and we found a good exit from there.
What are you trying to solve? What's the clarity? I need some more clarity here. What are you trying to solve? Are you trying to solve work-life balance?
No, fundamentally it starts with productivity and reducing chaos and confusion. We are talking to people, we are seeking information from systems, your CRM, your HR system, your sales, marketing and all that stuff. And we are creating a voice and interactive. Yes, we have a chatbot interface, both voice and text, and then we want to enhance it into Alexa type device on the desk that you can talk.
So I recently chaired a report on the digital revolution for the British Chambers of Commerce. The research that we did for that study said that 48% of UK SMEs have no plans to use AI in their business. How are you going to persuade people? What's your adoption strategy? Because this room loves AI broadly. There's people out there who have no idea what it'll do for them.
Within the time I have, I will only tell you that I'm part of a Oxford alumni group from my program, and I've sent it to 600 people. I have 60% of them signed up, just looking at one GIF, where they can ask a co-pilot to schedule next 6 weeks social media post on LinkedIn.
How much of this is a wrapper on an LLM versus actual technology?
We have taken a combination of 7 LLMs so far. We're using appropriate LLM for appropriate activity. No LLM is really good enough for everything.
So is your...
I didn't think you were going to get that question in, and you even got the answer in. Okay, give it up for Strat Pilot and Titania. Thank you. I'll say, yeah, thank you. I'm getting a frog in my throat then. You can tell we're getting to the end of the day. Okay, so I told you a little white lie before. That wasn't the penultimate pitch. This one is the penultimate pitch. I was a little bit misinformed. I'm sorry. Okay, so please join me in welcoming to the stage Anant Prakash from Inceptio. Your microphone.
Thank you. It's actually Odyssey.
Oh, what's going on here? Sorry about that.
Thank you, everyone, and welcome to the most important day of my life. My name is Anant Prakash. I used to be an investment banker, a managing director at Macquarie, and before that, I was a director at BP's Advanced Mobility Unit. So I was one of the people who set up electric vehicle charging in this country for BP. So I'm a mobility insider, and the business that I'm building is called Odyssey Limited. It's a combination of two things. This is a physical fleet of Tesla vehicles at the premium end. And then what you see is our AI algorithms, which are trying to decipher where the maximum demand is going to be. So these vehicles are deployed accordingly. London, we have a problem. This is a big problem. This is the biggest problem our generation will face. Much has been said about climate change. I'll delve into a different aspect of emissions, which is PM 2.5 as well as nitrogen dioxide emissions, which are cancerous. The saddest part about that sensor data, I call that the poison pill data, is that that data is coming from the primary school in central London. And what the cause for that is primarily vehicle emissions, which are causing death and disease in London. It's much worse in my home country. We want to be part of the solution. The solution that we are proposing is a UK first. Nobody has done that in the UK yet. The solution is an all-electric fleet of vehicles. These vehicles are a fleet as a service. So this is not a taxi service. This is a fleet. The fleet means the vehicle, the driver, the tech backend, the charging solution, all of that belongs to Odyssey. It is deployed using data analytics. We've got heat maps of where the demand is going to be. The large-scale descriptive data analytics is done. That leads to better deployment. And that deployment, the operations feeds into the data capture, which then is analyzed and leads to better operations. And what we're in the process of building is predictive analytics. We're not there yet. That's what the money is going to be used for, to build the predictive analytics, to lead the game and deploy these vehicles in the most productive and efficient way possible. We are growing like a rocket ship. Revenues have pentupled. We are now well over 1 million ARR, but this is not the Lego bricks growth. The green line shows we're getting more efficient as we go. So it's not just units added and revenues added to that. We're seeking 2.75 million in your capital. This is primarily to build the team and build the tech. And then the growth rate that we are projecting, all based on real numbers, what we are seeing in our fleet already, is tremendous. We are at 1 million ARR right now. In a little over 18 months, we will cross 32 million at 20% EBITDA margins. And these are all coming from real numbers. The contracts are secured. The contract is with the biggest, one of the biggest ride-hailing companies in the world, who are insatiable for our product. And the only way is up to solve a problem in London that is affecting my generation and yours. Thank you.
Swiftly wrapped up. I like that.
How do you
Thank
get
you,
paid?
Anand. From Odyssey Limited. My apologies. Wrong information.
so
Right,
you-
judges, he's eager. Let's go.
So you sell the app to the ride-hailing company, and how do you get paid?
The ride-hailing companies have their prescriptive algorithms. The vehicles that are deployed there earn money on that algorithm. We paid for what the vehicles earn in fares. And then with our particular client, we've negotiated bonuses on top as well because our service is premium end.
Risk to the business, and how do you think you could mitigate biggest risk to the business, given the AV sector is like exploding and yet it's controversial, as you know? And how do you think you would mitigate that risk?
There are different risks in different geographies. In the London geography, our biggest risk is human resource capital. So getting drivers is one of the things that we really, really struggle with. It was a big ask in the front end when we started. When we were small, nobody knew of us. We now think we've reached a critical mass where people are getting a FOMO. And when we tell them we're a fleet of 35 vehicles, they join us. But we will be limited by how fast we can grow. We can't grow at 1,000 a week just because it is a physical deployment which involves recruitment. So that is one of the big risks to scaling up as fast as we want to.
How do you amalgamate your data sets with that of, say, an Uber? Because they obviously have much more ride-sharing information than you would have.
They obviously have a lot more ride-sharing information. They are a data company, so I'm not naming any names here. But all of these guys, they build a glass wall around their data. They will give you access to the data to view it real time, but they won't give you access to the data to store. What our machine learning algorithms is doing is it's mining all the data from the telematics of the vehicle as well as from the rides that we conclude, and then building a k-means clustering algorithm on top to identify where these vehicles should be tomorrow. And when we do that, that's the next stage of evolution.
But that relies on you already having...
You got gonged. Well done. Thank you very much. Okay, give it up for Anant. And I've got to say, Nawazuddin Siddiqui is in the house. I am, of course, talking about the famous, the one and only actor, and he will be closing out today's proceedings, followed by some beverages. And I'm pretty sure we're all looking forward to a drink after today's really brilliantly long day. Okay, are we ready for our final pitch? Guys, I know it's the end of the day. Are we ready for our final pitch? Yes, keep that energy live. Okay, it gives me great pleasure to welcome to the stage Elizabeth Johnson, consultant at Cassova. Do you need the clicker too? All right.
Just too many things.
Right, your 3 minutes go now.
My name is Elizabeth. I'm glad to be introducing you to Cassova, a pioneer drone data company leveraging in India with data. A pioneering drone data company transforming the landscape of data acquisition and analysis in India. At Cassova, we leverage cutting-edge drone technology to provide actionable insights across various sectors. A major challenge with data is the availability of data with satellites. Satellite data does not provide the quality of photorealistic 3D hyperlocal data, and this is what we try to solve at Cassova. Next, with the problems of urban environments, which we have impact, the sectors that we have impact in is waste pollution, knowledge of the city, infrastructure, future plan, and roadmap viability. Just to give you an example, what we do, if for instance in the agricultural sector, we would be able to give data on pest control. In the banking and finance sector, we'll be able to give risk management, we'll be able to give property valuation. So those are the kind of impacts that we make with our data. Basically, we use a software called ARU, which is a cloud that hosts all the data that we provide to our clients. So what happens is that our clients can actually get real-time data from the cloud, and that gives impact into their assets management. Next. Our business model is to charge partners with one-time deployment fee and enable them to set up with their local drone and drone data call center model. Second is to build marketplace using the ARU, which is our most famous software, and allowing communities to set up their own portal to monetize the data locally. Next. Obviously, one of the challenges always with government restricting hardware, but dialogues are dialogues are happening. We aim to pivot from a turnkey approach to software and consulting. Hence, we are pitching this business. Of course, we have a competitor, which is Zipline, and Zipline has developed a drone delivery model, which we are in firm with. This is our management team. Next. Basically, the need for drone data from drone would increase to 10 trillion in the US market. And this is why we see this business as very viable in the future. Next. Thank you for your time. If I get a $1 million, I will take it for R&D, for marketing, for...
Okay, give it up for Elizabeth. I know it's not easy, is it? But you did it, it's over, but not over yet. Judges, I'm gonna hand over to you.
So Elizabeth, maybe you can just recap at a very simple level, what is it that you do? Is it a fleet of drones that are capturing images and the data from those images are then sold? Have I understood that right?
Yes, you did. That's what we do.
And how many drones do you have? Where are they currently deployed?
So basically, we do not have those drones at the stage. We would then manage drones that are already owned by our clients and be able to give them data, real-time data. Partners, not clients, actually.
So who is your ideal partner then for that proposition?
Actually, we are building ARU software. It is also called as RU software, which is very similar to GIS. SVGAs. So we have, we took inspiration from Esri. So yeah, based on Esri, we are trying to build ARU software for that.
Just a question here. Have you considered focusing on just one vertical? Agriculture is a really exciting vertical. There's a lot of money going into drone technology. Or are you going multi-vertical? What is your strategy?
At the moment, we are quite diverse. If needs be, then we'll specialize. I hear you when you say agriculture is a very big industry that we could play in, because pest control, watering of the plants. There's a whole lot to do in that area. So yes, we could specialize. And just to answer you, we have FS, who is a current partner, who is our partner in terms of drones, but we do not own drones at this point.
Do you have what is your differentiator then?
Why we stand out is that we're able to, what we want to intend to build is.
Okay, give it up for our final picture. Thank you. Right, you're free, you can go. Like I said, gang, it is not easy standing up here. So let's give a massive, huge, well-deserved round of applause for our pictures. I'm going to come to each and every one of you just for a bit of feedback, lesson learned, something that you can impart to our pitchers, or anyone who didn't even pitch today and could be thinking about pitching somewhere in the future. Just that could really help them, little takeaway for them to take home. You're nodding at me profusely, so I'm coming to you first. That's what you get for nodding. There you go. Right.
Be yourself. Be yourself.
Hey guys. Shh.
Be yourself. Everybody else is already taken. That's what Oscar Wilde said.
I like
Get on
that.
stage and just give it all you've got, and forget about the fact that you've got these eyeballs on you, and then you'll speak the truth.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
It's easier said than done, isn't it, to think about those eyeballs, but at the end of the day, if you think too much about the wrong thing, you can really mess up that pitch. So great bit of advice there. Right, I'm coming to you next.
The gap in the storytelling quality on stage was quite wide. And if you can't storytell, that's a big problem.
Yes. Oh, yes, there was a lot of comments from you at the early stages, wasn't there? It's like, guys, we've got to kind of make it a bit more succinct and get that story in. Am I skipping you?
No, Sanjay, you have to go to Sanjay.
Come on.
I already said that I think they have to be honest enough to say what gives them the sleepless nights and the vulnerability, because that just makes you look more genuine. So, that's my advice.
Yes, thank you.
Practice public speaking. It's, some people did it so well today, but for people for whom it's not your comfort zone, just practice.
Yes, practice. It's so crucial, isn't it?
Always have, all entrepreneurs have to be salesmen, whether you like it or not. Always have your elevator pitch in your pocket that you can pull out at any time. And the final recommendation is customize your presentation to your audience. Here in particular, you've got an Indian audience, and it's massive opportunity to do things in India, but yet we only had one presenter talk about the Indian market.
Yes, so kind of know who it is you're pitching for, kind of read the room almost, Okay, let's hear from you.
Yeah, what I would maybe add on top of what everyone said is, as an entrepreneur, you really need to know your customer. A lot of what was said was, this is the total market size, this is the TAM, this is the share of market that I want, this is the size of the industry. But who is your actual consumer? What is their pain point? What value are you creating for that consumer? And that is not understated enough as an entrepreneur when you're going through that journey, I think.
Firstly, I think congratulations to everyone who pitched, so a big round of applause. Yes. It was very interesting. Time was short, so I think to IGF, maybe give larger time so we can also ask more questions. But advice would be more clear with what you're trying to solve, and show a path to profitability. A lot of people showed big numbers, but what is the investment, and how do we actually, the world has changed. Everyone talks about cash at bank is reality, and top line is vanity, right? So we need to now get to what is reality and not focus on vanity. So a lot of investors now are focusing on profitability, at least I am, and not growth. Or growth is important, but not top line. So I didn't see the few pitches I saw. No one spoke about time to profitability and how will they become profitable.
And no one mentioned valuation.
Yeah, exactly.
How do we know is that good value?
A few people did, but as well as a storyteller, some of us spoke about being storytelling. When you are wrapping this in a wrapper, it's profitability and it's investors' return. Next 3 years, you will have a MOIC, or you'll double your return, double your money because of this. You know, that's leave with like big bold ideas, big bold statements which can leave the investors thinking, okay, can I make a 3x or 2x if it's such a 5x in 2 years? So leave with some big bold numbers.
Okay, one more point.
It depends on the business problem. You know, some of these ideas are deep tech. They will take time. You know, OpenAI still doesn't make money.
Yes.
So if you are building something that's deep tech, just go to the right investor that maybe doesn't want profitability in 3 years, but will ride a 10-year wave. I think that's just important to understand.
Yeah. Good little bit of nugget of information right at the end there. Okay, thank you, judges, for your valuable insight. Got something to add? Okay, Priya, I believe the responsibility lies on you to announce the winner.
So it's a big responsibility, of course, Lucy, but I also wanted to... Yeah, you can't run away now. Where's the checkbook, Sanjay?
Hey, yeah, where are you going?
A few people put their hands up, Sanjay, so you have to stay. So we have one company that we did want to give a highly recommended category to. I know that's not in our brief, but you'll permit us that. And that was to Accord Cardio, who we thought were amazing. Where are you?
Stand up, stand up.
But the winner, and I think there was real consensus from all of the judges, was Smart Audio Technologies.
Oh, brilliant. Come on down. Thank you. I think my mic's broken at the end of the day. Right, should we get a photo?
I do have to say something first.
Yeah, I want to hear from you. How does it feel to be chosen?
I got a call 1 hour before my pitch, so. Wow. Yeah, so. Thank you, judges. Your blessings are more than enough.
Well, the idea here was for knowledge and expertise. Unfortunately, there's no giant check that I'll be rolling out, unfortunately. Oh, well done. Okay, give it up one more time for Smart Audio.